So this is our last day in Kohima. So we are about to move out. It's early morning and it's another beautiful day. The sun is about to come out and our bikes are packed and ready. So the saddlebags are there. The bikes are packed and ready. This is Rajiv's bike and this is mine. And of course we have a car with us where we have Ruben, Boo and Akoni traveling. So Ruben is cleaning up his car. He's very particular. See how diligently he's working. Huh? So Ruben, how was the trip? Describe the trip for me from your perspective.
Trip was fantastic, super.
Give me a brief summary. So what did you like about the trip?
Yes.
So how was the trip? So describe
Good
it for
morning.
me. Yeah.
Today is a nice, bright, sunny day, and this is our last day. We'll be driving off to India now from Nagaland.
India.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to the drive back to our own country. And
Looking forward to our country. Looking forward to our native land.
Our native land. And yes, actually our trip to Kohima was very interesting. We got to see many interesting sites like the War Memorial Cemetery.
The Kohima War Memorial.
It's absolutely in the heart of Kohima. So this must be something that was very old. And also the location is where the erstwhile Deputy Commissioner's residence was. So I'm sure...
Actually, I think the Japanese were going for the Deputy Commissioner.
So...
And that was the last stand put up by the British, na?
Correct. So interesting, though it's a very old memorial, but it's been maintained and kept very well. So I quite appreciated all of that. It was very nice.
And Khonoma village was fascinating.
Khonoma village was also, GPS sort of misguided us to some bit of bad roads, but then
that was more adventurous.
That was adventurous and exciting as well. So yesterday, health-wise, I was not in my prime, so it was okay, but great. Overall, the trip has been super and fantastic. So we must think of other destinations, maybe in Nagaland, in due course of time, where we can come and explore. I enjoyed this trip, fantastic.
So that was Ruben with his overview of what we did here. And so we are all ready to go, waiting for the breakfast. And once we have it, we are off. In fact, we are taking a different route. We are not coming via Kaziranga this time, or rather we are not going via Kaziranga this time. What we will do is we will take the 4x4 National Highway, which is newly constructed, and we will go straight to the Hujai Nagaon stretch. We'll join there. We don't have to get to Hujai, so we'll take that highway, go to the Nagaon bypass, and basically then we'll move to Guwahati. I think the distance might be slightly more, I'm not sure, but then we can move faster because in Kaziranga it's 2-lane and there's a very strict speed limit that is enforced. And but here obviously there's no speed limit, then we can go as fast as we want. Of course we are traveling by bikes, so we will be going at a reasonable speed, but then we are all ready to move. So this is the resort. This is the resort. Let me show you. So we have started. We are going out. We have started on our way back to Guwahati. So we are leaving Niramaya retreat. Huge slope up. Bola. So here goes. We are on our way home. So it was a wonderful stay, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We have had our breakfast, and we are riding down to Guwahati. So I have set my map, Google Map, and it's showing 7.5 hours. Maybe it will take around 8 hours. We'll go take it easy, we'll go slow. The car has already left. The three guys, Boo, Ruben and Okoni, they are there in the car. They're supposed to do some shopping. कौन भी नहीं रहा है हरी? So I'm at Rajiv. Oh, so you can see the town below. Beautiful roads, hilly roads. It's a hill station. Kohima is a hill station. So beautiful hilly road. In fact, all the hill stations look the same and feel the same. The houses, the way they are constructed. So Shillong, Aizawl, Darjeeling, Gangtok, everything looks the same. I mean, it feels the same. So we are exiting Kohima. The traffic is light. The rush is yet to set in. Once we get out of the town, riding will be easier. Because there's so many twists and turns, so many different roads, and Google Map keeps on changing the route, so it becomes very difficult. And last minute changes when you are going uphill, at which steep turns, suddenly the route changes. Difficult to adjust at the nick of time. It's challenging riding in the hills. Riding in the hills in towns like Kohima, which is very steep. All the roads are very steep. And if you don't know, if you're new to it, if you don't know the roads, you're totally dependent on Google Map. And once the Google Map starts misbehaving, then you're in big trouble. Not big trouble, inconvenient. So actually they have a 4-lane road, but 2 lane keeps on disappearing from time to time. And when they disappear, suddenly the 4-lane turns into a 2-lane road where there is incoming traffic. So you have to be very careful, alert. Otherwise, it's beautiful weather, lovely ride. Like other hill stations, this place is not so green. That is something which I've noticed. The greenery is missing. There are occasional scrubs and small bushes, but the kind of overpowering greenery that exists in Arunachal, Meghalaya, Sikkim, that is not there in Nagaland. I don't know why. It's got a kind of dry look. Not as dry as Ladakh, of course, because in Ladakh there's no vegetation. Here the vegetation is there, but it's a kind of very dry, scarce, scanty vegetation. And another thing I've noticed is there's no pine trees. Despite the fact it's a hill station, the trees are something else. There are no pine trees here. Because in hill stations you get coniferous forests, and here there is nothing of that sort. এই টুচন মই আকৌ পাহৰি থাকিলোঁ সৰুটো লগাব পাহৰি থাকিলোঁ আকৌ দেৰি সৰু কেমেৰাটো লগাব পাহৰি থাকিলোঁ আছে লগতে আছে ভাল জেগা পালে ৰখাম দিয়া ৰখাই লগাই লওঁ বিউটিফুল ৰোড ব্ৰিজখন ক্ৰছ কৰি ৰখিম হা ৰাইট চাইডে যদি প্লেন পাওঁ প্লেন থকা যেন লাগিছে জেগা পাওঁ যদি কেমেৰাটো পাৰিলে লগাই লওঁ এইটো বেকগ্ৰাউণ্ড নাপাম তো মানে কৰি ল'ব পাৰি কেমেৰাটো আছেনে বা এইটো ক'ত বা থ'লোঁ কি কথা আছে সুন্দৰ এজাগমাৰ ভাল এজাগমাৰ এইটোতকৈ গোপৰতকৈ বহুত ভাল Voila. So we are back on the road. They took a very small break and we're on our way to Dimapur. So we'll bypass Dimapur. We'll take the bypass and Dimapur bypass and go straight to Nagaon and from Nagaon we'll go again. We'll bypass Nagaon and go straight to Guwahati. It will take us around 7 to 8 hours. We have been traveling for the last 1 hour, so there must be around 7 hours left. Beautiful road. Nice ride. Traffic has eased. There is no traffic now. And when there is when the four lane road exists, it's beautiful riding the bike. But once the 4 lane disappears and turns into 2 lane, then you have to be careful for incoming traffic, because these drivers are kind of reckless and basically they don't consider bikers to be part of the road. They think bikers should be invisible, so that is a problem. Again, so the 4 lane has disappeared. Now again you are back to 2 lane. So this is going to continue for the entire stretch of the journey. So we are getting an airport. 39 kilometers to Dimapur, 35 kilometers to airport, and Patkai Bridge is 28 kilometers. So it's 28 kilometers to Patkai Bridge. Picture হয়তো বন্ধ আছে, ক'ত খোলা ক'ত বন্ধ ক'বই নোৱাৰি। মই নিজৰ লাইনতে আছোঁ, কিন্তু ফটকৈ ভয় দেখি মানে আনএক্সপেক্টেড আহি গৈছে, এইটো ভয় লাগি গৈছে। একদম এলাৰ্ট থাকিব লাগে দেই এই চব ৰাস্তাত, নহয় অলপো মন ভটকিব দিব নালাগে, মনটো ভটকিব দিব নালাগে, একদম এলাৰ্ট থাকিব লাগে। रास्ता से आग हटी तो दुर्घटना घटी। Beautiful ride, beautiful ride. This stretch of the road is beautiful. Wonderful ride. So there's an army personnel going back. So there's a beautiful church up in the hill, Sopai Pito Baptist Church. So we are still on our way down from Kohima to Dimapur. It's around maybe 10 to 15 kilometers to Patkai Bridge, which is where the bypass to Dimapur starts. We are going to take the bypass, Dimapur bypass, and go straight to Nagaon via Daboka, which is the 4x4, new 4x4 highway, and that is shorter and faster. So we can we don't have to go around to the north, to the right towards Kaziranga and travel through the stretch of Kaziranga where there is huge speed limit of 40 kilometers and in some stretches it's 20 kilometers per hour. So we save a lot of time and a lot of tears because it's terrible. I mean, driving so slowly in the Kaziranga stretch at 20 kilometers per hour for over 10-15 kilometers. Anyway, we are about to reach Patkai Bridge, which is the bypass to Dimapur. Beautiful road. Suddenly it's getting warmer and warmer, and I think in the Patkai Bridge where we'll have a brief halt, maybe have a cup of tea, and then I'll take up my thermals because it's getting warm and uncomfortable. Because once the sun is out, it becomes very hot. Not hot, warm. Because it's never warm on a bike. Because the wind blast always keeps you cool. আজি তোমাৰ বানাটো ভাল হৈছে প্ৰথম দিনৰ নিচিনা হৈছে পুৰা একদম কম্পেক্ট হৈছে তোমাৰ টাইটকৈ বডিত লগাই দিব লাগে তেতিয়া ভাল দেখি চিঙি যাব পাৰে ইয়াতে এক মিনিট ৰখিম নেকি আচ্ছা পোৱা নাই ন ইয়াত পাটকাই ব্ৰিজত ৰখিম হা অলপ দেৰি অলপ ব্ৰেক এটা ল'ম হালকা জেকেট অঁ আগত আছে অলপমান আগত আছে সেইখিনি আমি য'ত ৰখাইছিলোঁ ৰাতিপুৱা আহোঁতে বন্ধ নেকি অঁ পালে পালোঁ নাপালে নাই ৰখিলোঁ 2 মিনিট sama-sama pakai dari itu. Bola. Chalo. So we have just got out of Dimapur, taking the Dimapur bypass, and we are on our way to Dhabaka, next major town, which is in Assam. So after some time we'll cross over to Assam. We are still in Nagaland, but this is plains. I brought down my sunshade. I brought down my sunshade. Now I have two visor in front, sunshade behind it, sunshade behind it. So this is a RX 100 Yamaha, and these two guys are riding without helmet. I've noticed one thing, people don't wear helmet here. So it's a 4-lane highway, straight, so you can speed up and ride comfortably. So this is a new road. This is a new road that connects Guwahati to Kohima, and this road goes to Imphal and to Moray. And this is a fantastic out-of-the-world 4-lane highway, and this stretch has been completed, and as you can see, India is really getting connected. So if you go straight, you get to Dhabaka, which is in Assam. Then you join the Nagaon Silchar highway, and you take the right. You get to Nagaon crossroad, Nagaon bypass, and after that, if you take the left, you go to Guwahati, which may be around 1 and a half hour from the bypass. At most 2 hours. It would be fantastic if this road continues like this. There's a new petrol pump, but not for me. I'm all loaded. I filled up the tank to the brim, so I don't need a refill. I think I'll easily make it home. I have to slow down from Rajiv because see, this Himalayan is much faster than his Royal 350. Rajiv is riding on a Royal Enfield 350, and the top speed is 80, and the top speed of this bike is around 140. So I have to keep slowing down for him. I'll ride for some time, but I'm still riding at a moderate pace. I'm riding at 70, but still he's nowhere to be seen. So I have to slow down for him. The sky is crystal clear. It's light blue, a beautiful tinge of light blue, and not a single whiff of pollution. Clean winter air. Coming into my face. Wonderful ride. Because the sun is out, it's quite warm. I had taken off my high neck sweater. I'm still wearing my thermal. Quite possible I might also have, it's quite possible that I might also have to take this off. The important thing in a road like this is to remain alert. We tend to, get lost in your thoughts when the road is like this, no challenges. So it's important to keep yourself alert and stay focused on the road. This was a fantastic trip. Kohima was a fantastic trip. In this trip, we did things, we went to places which was outside the regular tourist circuit. In Kaziranga, we didn't take a jeep ride into the park, nor did we take an elephant ride into the park. Rather, we spent the entire day going into the Kakujan Falls, which lies deep in Karbi Anglong village. And it was out of the world experience. Although we had to walk for a long time, maybe 2-3 kilometers, wearing a totally loaded in a riding gear, which was very tough, but it was worth it. And it's absolutely great that I managed to record that in my camera, and so basically I could put it up as a blog. So that's a wonderful thing. And in Kohima also, although we went to the Kohima War Cemetery, which is of course in the regular tourist circuit, we went to Khonoma village, which is around 25 kilometers out of Kohima, and this Khonoma village, as you know, was an incredible place. It is an incredible place with a huge sense of history. It has a gory and a bloody history. And it was fascinating listening to the people, understanding their culture and everything. So basically what I learned is that Khonoma village is inhabited by the Angami tribe, and see, there are a number of around 15 major Naga tribes, and there is constant conflict between those tribes. So there is internecine war happening all the time with the Naga tribes, and so all these tribes have their villages at the top of hills, which was a natural fortress, which serves as a natural fortress. So Khonoma village was also a natural fortress, and they were headhunters in the sense when they fought with the neighboring tribes. So actually all the warriors, a warrior was considered to be truly great. Truly great, he was considered to be a great warrior only if he manages to kill his enemy and get his head. And these tribes would, irrate the villages of their neighbors, and what they do, they chop off the head of their victims and they hang it in front of their house. And the skulls of the enemies served as a as a trophy for the warrior, and basically it indicates his prowess as a warrior. Greater the number of skulls in front of his house, greater would be the status of the warrior as per his skills. So that's how they came to be known as headhunters, because each tribe would be after the heads of their enemy, and which is terrible. And again, okay, so the four-way road has abruptly come to an end. We are back onto a one-way, a two-lane highway. So I have to watch out for traffic. So that was the gory history of the Naga people as headhunters. Now, and that tradition, the fierce warrior instinct, the fierce resistance to foreign interference continued during the British rule also. Apparently, they used to raid the villages in the plains in British India, in Assam, and basically they also used to raid the tea gardens, but the British took offense to that, and they sent a contingent of their army, and led by one political officer who was killed in the fields of Panama. Taking umbrage to that, the British sent a full reinforced unit, and the first battle of Panama was fought, which obviously the Naga lost because they were a small tribe. The Panama village lost because they were a strong tribe, small tribe, and the entire village was destroyed, which was built like a fortress. But they came back. In the second battle, a number of Englishmen got killed along with the other native soldiers. So there were a number of battles with the British between the Angami tribe in Kanama village, and each time their village was destroyed, the fortress was dismantled, but each time it was again reconstructed. And this continued even after independence. They started fighting the Indian army, and up to 1992 there was active conflict going on, where a number of Indian personnel were also killed, and also a number of soldiers from the Kanama village were killed. But so this is where we enter Assam. So we just crossed the checkpoint. And so we are in Assam right now. So this is the border between Assam and Nagaland. So we are back to our home state, Assam, and that gives you a lot of confidence. After independence also, the active insurgency against the Indian government also continued for a long time, and it only ceased after the peace talks were initiated between the Naga insurgent groups and the Indian government. So we are right in the middle of the forest. We are nearing Nagaon bypass, and actually we wanted to go straight to the Nagaon bypass, but the road is slow, so we have been diverted to a new road, and this road passes right through the forest. Okay, Rajiv, let's go. So it's a boon for us. In fact, we are fortunate because of the bypass. We can see this wonderful road. It's a beautiful road which passes through this picturesque forest. Slightly risky also because of the incoming traffic, but you have to be careful. But then We're right in the middle of the forest. We're right in the middle of the forest. There are monkeys everywhere, and there is warning signs that that there could be elephant crossing at any point of time. So basically, Assam is Assam is fortunate to have a lot of wild elephant herds, and so these elephants basically are found in these forests. In these forests, there is a lot of man-elephant conflict also because of that. And the elephant herd frequents this particular road. They kind of cross from the left side of the forest to the right side of the forest. It's a beautiful road, and it's very picturesque because it passes right through the forest. Forest on both sides, very tall trees, and the sun. And these trees have shut out the sun, so it's getting kind of dark here, and vehicles have switched on their lights. I think we are coming to the edge of the forest now. But there are monkeys on the side. You can see that those are the monkeys. So we are near Guwahati. It's 3 hours to Guwahati from this place. I'm not exactly sure which highway is this. The Google map is showing National Highway 27, but I don't know. The map is showing this highway to be National Highway 27, but I'm not sure. I have never traveled this highway before. Very exciting. Lovely biking through this highway with the forest on both sides of the road. I think these are reserve forests. Oh, I don't know. Nagav na bola dekho. Huh? আমি বহুত ঘূৰিলোঁ নেকি? আমি বহুত ঘূৰিলোঁ যেন পাইছোঁ। আমাৰ ধৰা আধা ঘণ্টামান গৈছে এক্সট্ৰা। ৰাস্তাটো বন্ধ কৰি দিছে কাৰণে হৈছে এনেকুৱা। হাইৱেটো পালে আধা ঘণ্টা আগে পালোঁ হয়। So we are going towards the Nagaon bypass, and we are hoping to get a bite to eat there. We are hoping to have lunch there, and the lunch would be very welcome because it will also give us a break, because we have been riding since 8 o'clock in the morning and it's nearly 3 o'clock. So a break would be very welcome. Rajnigandha. So there are a lot of good hotels where you can have food now. this has become some kind of a hub for restaurants serving lunch and dinner. So Anurag is the first one which made this place famous. But there's a restaurant adjacent to that called Dalimi, where we had lunch twice. It was fantastic. They serve wonderful fish.